Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. If I look like I've been crying, I've been cutting onions. A whole lot of onions. This morning I'm making triple onion loaves for somebody requested it. I have an onion recipe with onion bread recipe. They wanted to have it, so I'm going to share it. You're going to need 6 green onions chopped, which we know as scallions. You're going to need 2 large yellow onions chopped and 1 medium red onion chopped, which I've been doing and I've been crying in the process. Now in a large frying pan, this bread's the only bread that brings me to tears. We're going to need 3 tablespoons of butter in a frying pan. We're going to melt this butter and then we're going to add all these onions. Oh dear. Between the crying and the tears with the onions. So we'll wait for that to get started. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And by the way, that goat meat that I cooked was so tender. It went excellent. My sons almost demolished that whole meal. It was that good. And they raved about it. They just ran out of room packing it in. They were very, very happy with it because we hadn't had it in such a long time. Where did I put the other yeast? Oh dang. Okay, I got both of them. Now we're going to be cooking these once that butter melts over medium heat for 10 minutes. We want to soften them up. When they say a medium heat, I almost have to go to simmer because these pots hold a lot of heat in them. So I don't, have a high flame most of the time, which I like because they have that thick bottom, they hold that heat. So we're going to saute these for about 10 minutes and then I'll be back and I'll show you what else we're going to be doing. Okay, it's been 10 minutes and the onions are soft. Now we're going, well they say soften. Now what we're going to do is add a teaspoon of sugar. Where did I put my sugar? Now what we're going to do is we are actually going to continue cooking for about another 30 minutes until they turn a dark brown, and they say that'll take about 30 minutes. So while those are cooking, let me get other stuff together and we can get the dough started. Okay, we need 2 tablespoons of butter melted for the dough. So we're going to start the other part right now. 2 cups of warm water. All right. I need a 2-cup measure for that and a pot. Never ever use warm water or the hot water from the faucet. There are sediments in it that attack the liver, and the liver can't get rid of it, so your body stores it, and sooner or later you end up with problems. They can go from sleeping problems to heart problems to kidney problems to this problem to a lot of problems. So always use cold water, warm it up. Now we're going to warm this up to wrist temperature, which, well, they really want it to, how high do they want it to? 105, but it's just body temperature. In other words, if you can't feel the chill or the heat, it's hot enough. Always check your dates on your yeast, if you use packaged yeast or bottled yeast. I'm using bottled yeast here, regular one that you find in the store. Now, if you overheat your water, it's real easy to correct it. Is it 2 1/4? I never remember. 2 1/4. And how much do they want? They want 1 package of yeast, or 2 1/4 if you're using a jar. Or just regular yeast. I had to buy something that I never buy. Instant yeast for a bread recipe. I couldn't believe it. So I've got 3 yeast in here, the regular one, the instant, and my sourdough. That's how easy it is. Just take the chill off the water. Now, for people who don't handle a lot of yeast, you're going to have to wait till it foams. All right. I'm not waiting because I already know. I work with it all the time. I guess all of you can see that. I'm always making something, and you have to use a lot of yeast and flour. Okay. Capers and salt. Okay. We're going to need capers for this. I gotta make room here. I just don't have it. Crack on my capers. And a fork. How many capers do we need? We need 2 tablespoons, and they want them drained. They want them drained. And they want them chopped. Now this is optional if you wish. flowers, they're little tiny flowers. That's all they are. Buds of flowers. A certain flower. I don't know the flower. See, my yeast is already foaming. That's how fresh it is. It's not foaming, it's not fresh, and you better check the dates. Okay, you have to go over here. You're not going to stand. I don't know if mine's gonna brown, but they want it. And they want a teaspoon of salt. And they want the butter, which is 2 tablespoons. Let's see if I got everything. Okay, we're going to start adding all-purpose flour in here, but I want to make this nutritious. So I am going to be adding a half a cup of whole wheat flour that will give us those amino acids, and it will sit there and give us the B vitamins and trace minerals that we need. This is why I keep on adding it, because a lot of bread recipes just say all-purpose, and if you read what's on the package of all-purpose, you're missing a lot of nutrients. So by adding that, like I do in biscuits, I'll add either wheat germ, or I'll add yeast, brewer's yeast, or I can add the whole wheat, but I'll put some in to make sure we get traces of it. And I happen to really like whole grains as well, so. So according to what I'm making, like if I do a cake, I want to make cake mixes, but I want to make sure that when I make one, I can utilize it completely. So people who like to make cake mixes will actually have a natural one without all the preservatives they put in it. Just that one day making it, and then you'll have it on hand for yourself, and it's yours. I'm adding a half a cup at a time and stirring it in. If you have a mixer, you can put on the bread paddle, what they call it, the dough paddle, and use it if you wish. I just prefer doing it by hand. I've always done it by hand. I leave it in here again? Why didn't you tell me? Now this is going to make 2 loaves. So the person who loves onion bread, you'll have a lot here. Okay. This is 5. And we're going to be moving to kneading it. I'm actually moving stuff so I can get this bowl in the sink and get it warm and clean. And put a cup on your counter and we're going to start moving it. And I know it's not all worked in here, but we'll get it all worked in anyway. Just scrape it all out there. Get hot water in your bowl, because we're going to need the bowl anyway. Now you're going to work all this flour in. See, I know a lot of people that don't like whole wheat. They don't at all. But what I show you here is how you can add it and it doesn't affect the flavor of the bread. And it's called a light whole wheat. It's really light. You're unaware of it being there, but the body will pick up the nutrients in it and know it's there. Your onion should be looking very nice now. I can't see wasting 30 minutes waiting for that before I start the dough. So if you add 2 tablespoons into your biscuits, Take away 2 tablespoons of the flour and add 2 tablespoons of the whole wheat flour. You'll be getting it in, but it won't affect the flavor. If you make biscuits, muffins, you see how I add wheat germ. You could add a couple tablespoons of whole wheat flour instead of that. So there's ways you can work around it and still get the nutrients in, because if your family is not overly happy and you're not happy with the whole wheat taste of whole wheat flour, you can, you know, put it in small amounts. Just make sure you keep it in the refrigerator or the freezer, the whole wheat, because it's a whole grain, it will go bad. So I always keep mine in the freezer. Now if I'm going to use them, I try to take them out the night before, leave them on the table so they're more room temperature. But I'll show you how to use wheat flour when you're making just regular biscuits, and you can see that it won't affect the color and stuff. If you're still afraid to take that jump, I will show you. That's why I've been showing you with wheat germ, but if you wish, well, next time try whole wheat flour and see how it comes out. Of course, I already know, but I'm going to say that for you. Now you can get particles like this. That's just some dough. It didn't come in. If you have a compost bowl here, yeah, we're above the temperature of freezing grounds. I'm going to be able to start burying it back into the garden and into my yard. And do you know most of the trash that I have is the plastics that come from the store and their jars, not the scraps and stuff. And they're telling us we have to separate the trash, and yet the government and the businesses are making our trash instead of recycling it. If they brought us bottles of gallons of milk, you could bring them back to the store. That's how we used to do them. And they would pick them up, and you would get like a couple of cents off each bottle you returned the gallon of milk if it wasn't chipped or anything. If it was chipped and stuff, you had to pay for that bottle. But you had to clean them out, you know, rinse them out when you finish them. But now, plastic here, plastic there, and they say we have to conserve it. But I don't remember anybody asking me if I wanted to use it, plastic. They said we're killing the trees. We used to, yes, we used trees, papers, and stuff like that. But they grew trees as fast as they chopped them down. They grew trees right behind them. So it was never that we were losing our forest and stuff. What they chopped down so we could use it, they also replaced it right away. So we were recycling a long time ago. We're not recycling now. I'm just working the last of the flour into this. We'll have to put that in a greased bowl. Okay. Onion mixture, we're going to put on the side while we're waiting for this bread to rise. That's it for the onion mixture. We're done with it. I can go back because I've got more cooking to do today. Okay. Gonna have to clean your bowl out with hot water. Because a cold bowl, it will take longer for it to, for the bread to get warm, to rise. get your bread upside down, twist it around because you're coating the top of it, then flip it right side, and you've got it thoroughly coated so it will not dry out, because when you use this yeast that you buy in the store, you have to cover it and you have to coat it because it dries out. But it's funny, when you use the sourdough cultures, you don't have to worry about that. So that's got to be covered. Leave the onions alone, we'll get to those. We're going to put them in a bowl because we're going to use them when we put the bread together. Now, onion mixture right here. Now that I got it in the bowl, we are going to add a half a teaspoon of salt and a fourth of a teaspoon of black pepper. Where did I put those measuring spoons? Oh, what the heck. A teaspoon of salt, and then you're going to mix this up, and then it's all done. And a fourth pepper. Put it somewhere, and I should see you, if this rises in its time frame, I should see you in an hour, but I don't know. The weather's a bit cool again.